Hi, welcome to Fiberchats. My name is Irina. I'm the host here, and my guest today is Mette Larsen from Denmark. Hi, Mette.
Ah, Mette, yes. Hello.
Welcome to my channel. I actually got introduced to your Instagram first by a friend of mine who is a huge fan of yours, and
Yeah.
she also has this approach to knitting where she just lets her imagination run wild, and I feel like this is your approach to knitting as well. How did it started though? Like, were you always that creative and always that free with yarn?
No. Yes, and no. But I was a child I was born in 1961, and in those years, in the 60s and in the start 70s, we had a knitting revolution here in Denmark. A woman named Kirsten Hofstetter. She made a kind of knitting called hønsestrik. And you can see here behind me,
Mhm.
this is hønsestrik. It was made in Denmark for the first time. And, it's still kind of cool. And the young ones are, you can see here the old books from Kirsten Hofstetter. And you can still buy them, not as new, but, and then,
Contemporary.
yeah. And then some young people have now started a new wave from hønsestrik. And hønsestrik is, høns is chicken. So, but it sounds better in Danish, I think, with hønsestrik. So I started with that, and it was a kind of knitting where you didn't have any pattern. So a lot of women use that kind of knitting because they were protesting. It was a kind of political knitting. Women were going to islands, and only women, and not allowed for men, and taking all their clothes off and burning the bras. And it was really a revolution, women's liberation here. So I started knitting there too, hønsestrik, and that's why. And now I am, and I do not really need anything, a pattern. It's boring. I don't like it.
Well, when you decide to knit something, what gives you inspiration? Like, do you start with the shape? Do you start with the yarn? Do you start with color? Like, where does the inspiration take place?
Mostly I find some yarn, and I think this yarn is just wonderful. And you have these balls in balls. I don't know. You have these.
Games, yeah.
These.
Right.
Yeah, and I put my yarn into these, and I'm going and talking with it and looking at it, and suddenly I think I'm going to make something. And sometimes I just take my very best friend here.
What
Can you
size
see?
needles are those?
20 in Danish.
Right.
I don't know, but it is 2 centimeter. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I use them a lot, but not only. And I use this 15 a lot, but I use all kind of needles. And I do not always know what I'm going to make and what I'm going to do, but it's a process. I'm very, the process means a lot to me. I'm not so interested in what it is going to be. I'm most interested in the process while I'm knitting. So I do not always know what I'm knitting.
Well, let's talk about yarn that you use, because you don't use one kind of yarn. Like, every item of yours has whole variety of yarns, and it's variety not only of different thicknesses, but also like different textures, different materials.
I have something here I'll show you. This wonderful, it's a blouse. You can see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I have used a very much different yarn here, but I'm also doing a lot of things with the yarn. So sometimes it looks like I have a lot of different yarn, but I'm only doing, yes, I have been writing down what they are called. The stitches are called here. I love garter stitch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Garter. Yeah.
Garter stitch, yeah.
I love that. I do that a lot. And a lot of people say, oh, it's only garter stitch, but it is really good. You do not really need anything more than that. But look here, you can see a lot of different patterns and a lot of different yarns.
I love that.
Yes, it's wonderful. I love that too. You know, I cannot always buy what I want to so therefore I have to make some of it by myself.
Yeah, I actually saw the video that you put on Instagram, how you're making yarn. So
Yes.
how does that happen? Like, tell me the process of this yarn. How did you make it?
Yeah. What is it called? The one you
Weave?
the
Knit?
weave? Yeah. Yes.
Like when
But
you
I'm
you're
spinning.
weaving, right? Spinning, yeah.
I'm spinning. Yes, I have. I'm sitting there with both my feet and
Yeah,
I'm spinning.
machine. Yeah.
I do not really know how to do it, but I'm doing it anyway. Because I can do a lot more than I think I can. So this I have made, and it's very funny. And I use a lot of different things. I can also use yarn that I think is too dull, or yarn who is boring. There's a lot of boring yarn. I do not know why, but there is.
Right.
And therefore, I have to make it by myself.
So you take the wool, but you also add yarn to it, and you add like different materials to it, and you create a new yarn.
And stockings and old clothes, and you know, when you get a gift, there's a around.
Right.
Yeah, and I yes, I take that too. Yeah. So there are a lot of opportunities. A lot of.
Okay, so when you look at let's say you come to the secondhand store where they sell old clothes or like whatever, right? Stuff that people don't want anymore. Is that like a playground for you? Is that something that gives you like tons of inspiration and you're like, okay, I'm gonna make yarn out of all of this?
Yeah. Yes, sometimes, but I'm a little bit afraid of the little animals, you know, mul. I don't know what they're called.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Moth.
Yeah.
Moth. Yes, I'm very afraid of moth because I had moth in this house, and it was a disaster. So, I do not really need to go there because I have so much yarn here. I have all over the house. Now all our children have moved from home, and all the rooms I have, in a way, taken them into my space.
Right.
But I'll show you something here. I have, you know, I have been trying to pronounce this right, because dying and dying is very similar.
Right.
And I have been color dyeing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this is some of my yarn, and it is so wonderful, I think. And I have been asked if I would like to sell it, and I can't sell it because I have a project for every skein. Skein? Is it a skein?
Skein.
Skein. Yes, and you do not really need to knit it. You can use it as it is. And here it was light blue sock yarn, and look how wonderful it is. Yeah.
How do you decide on like what color you're gonna make? Do you have favorites? Do you have like something that you always
Yes, I have favorites. I like the very bright and shiny colors, and I like the Big Bang purple and lemon green and lemon yellow and all these colors. I love them. So my udfordring. I have to, sometimes I have to stop myself because I'm going to make too much of all this pang, pang, pang color. So I need to get some color in who is
Calmer.
calmer. Yes. But I'll show you here.
That's beautiful.
The colors are not right when I see it here. I hope they will be better on YouTube, but that's intarsia knitting, and I love intarsia.
So when you need something, I mean, you're saying garter stitch, but then you do intarsia and then you do color works. Is there like a technique that you're afraid of that you never tried?
I think there are a lot of things I never tried. I would love to learn them, but it's getting hot here. But you know, it's very difficult for a knitter like me to get out on workshops because I'm bored all the time. I think it's very boring, and there are all these rules, and I do not use rules. I don't know where they come from.
Right.
And all the time I ask, who made that rule, and who made that rule, and who made that rule, and no one can answer me. So
well, I saw a picture on your Instagram of you being on some sort of show or wool festival, and there is the whole like display of all your knitted things and all the stuff that you do. What's the reaction of people when they walk by your booth?
the reaction is, what? And some are going very fast away from me, and some come in laughing and say, wow, what a lot of lovely colors. I would like to do that. Can you help me? How can I do that the way you are doing it?
And so can you teach your way? Like, is your way, can it be taught to general public? Yes, but the only way it can be taught is with me by your side. So I will follow your hands and tell you, and then in the end, on a workshop, you will have something similar. So can you write the pattern? Like, do you write patterns for your things? Is it
No.
possible, like, to write the pattern? Because
no, it's not really possible, because I am the pattern. You know, I'm the receipt, or what it is called. It's me. I'm telling what to do, because you cannot write it down really, but some things you can write down. I have made some books. This is the third one, and I am describing here how I work and my thoughts, and there are a lot of videos, and it's of course in Danish. This is called The Knitting Rebel. That's me. Right. This is book number 3. And yes, I am sitting there knitting without clothes. And why am I doing that? Because I can.
Talking about being a rebel, I saw a video of you going into a freezing water and swimming there with a bunch of other women. Like, is that for health benefits? If that to challenge the nature, to show that you're unstoppable? Like, why are you doing that?
You know, I am unstoppable. Nothing can stop me. But it has something to do with me getting winter depressions. Is that right? Winter depression? Yeah. So it helps me getting through the winter. And it reminds me every morning that I'm alive, you know, getting into this very, very cold water. Nude, by the way.
Right.
So it reminds me of being alive, and it reminds me about the life is going on. Yes.
How long have you been doing that?
For 3 years.
It's funny because my grandmother used to do that also. Like, she used to go into the freezing, like they would cut ice actually in the lake, and she would like dive in in the middle of the winter.
I have not, I have not tried that, but I would love to do it. It's not that cold now, but it is cold. It's
Right.
becoming colder. Yeah.
So the first time you went into that freezing water, what was your going in your mind? Like, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, what am I doing?
Well, at that point, did you do it to challenge yourself? Like, or did you do it to make some point to others?
No, I'm not the challenging type. Not. I'm not going into competitions or to win. I like to play and so, but I'm not the type who wants to win. I only like to be a part of it. So yes, I can only say it's wonderful. You should all try it. Uh, it gives a kick in the morning, and you have started. Mm.
Right. So, talking about being a rebel, like, what do you think is the most rebellious thing you've knitted?
The most rebellious thing I have done, I think it was to be a part of the Great Knit Off here in Denmark, a competition with 10 knitters, and we were going to. It was a competition. It was, but I never thought one day that I was going to win. But I was happy every day when I had to sleep on that wonderful castle and be a part of it the next time.
Can you
So
tell
I
us
think,
more about it, like about the process of how it happened?
yes, there was a channel here in Denmark, and and you can find them all on YouTube. And one is with the English subtitles, actually.
Yeah.
So, but they were looking for knitters, and I thought maybe it would be something for me because I was very clever when I saw the others. It was part two. There was a part one, and I was in the part two, and then there was a part three, and I was very clever, very clever. And I thought, okay, maybe you should try if it is so easy, because it wasn't easy.
Right.
So I was called to a casting and on the TV, and they said, okay, we would like you to come and be a part of this. And then yes, I was a part of it, and I became the number two.
So, who were like the other people? Did you get like, did you feel like it was a competition? Did you feel like you were in the category all by yourself?
Yes, in a kind, I was myself, because I was the rebellion type. I was saying, oh, I love that, I could do that. Hey, oh no, no pattern for me. But I had to use a pattern sometimes on
Right.
some of the competitions.
Right.
But
So,
yeah,
um, what do you do with the items that you've done, with the items that you needed? Do you wear them? Do you sell them? Do you gift them? What happens to them?
normally they belong to me because I am going out on having talks to crowd
Presentations.
of huh?
Presentations.
Presentations, okay, with a lot of people,
Right.
somewhere, and then I have a lot of workshops, and I need all this. I do not need it all, but some of the items I cannot really, I need to have them here. So maybe sometimes I sell something, but not very often. Not very often.
Do you
No.
wear them yourself?
Yes, yes, I do. I wear them myself, and it's like having a baby or a dog. You always talk to people when you when
Right.
you wear so funny knitting.
Well, when people stop you, right, and they see you walking in one of your creations, and they stop you to ask you if you made it or how you made it, is that usually like, do you feel like people impressed, or do you feel like they just think it's funny stuff?
Yeah, I don't know the English word for it, but I'm the one who's del af vandene. Either you like it or either you just hate it, I think.
Right.
So something with the water. I cannot say it in English. But so um, I can hear when people are passing me. I wouldn't wear like something like that. Or did you see that? That was wonderful. So people are so in two groups. Yeah.
Do you feel like there are a lot of people, like, is it equal parts, or is it like more people who like love it, and or more people who think it's ridiculous?
More people think it's ridiculous, but that's okay.
How would you like, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with people who are negative? How do you like not let it get to you?
Yes, you know, I'm now 60. I just turned 60 this summer, and now I have an age that it doesn't bother me anymore. But all my life, I have been kind of different with many things, and also with my, yes, what I think, and so, and a lot of people I have always met. Do you know Yande, the law of Yande?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Yande has always been my follower. He has been going behind me. And you shall not think you're anything. You shall not think what you are doing is good, and so on. That's what Yande says. And he has always been following me. And now I think, while going 50 and 60, I'm sure now he's going far, far behind me, because I do not let him get in front of me.
Right.
Because, you know, I am unique and I can do everything I want to. So no one is going to tell me something else.
Well, when you look at your knitting, and you look at your knitting like back when you were like, let's say 30, 40, right? And you look at your knitting now, that you feel this sense of freedom, artistic freedom. Are your items very different from each other? Like the things that you knit now, are they very different from what you knitted when you were younger?
Very, very much different, because now I have no rules. Now I can do whatever I want. I am there are no, yeah, no limits. I can do what I want to do, and I will never go out in a yarn store and buy 10 yarn 10
Skeins.
bunch of yarn, because I do not know how to use them. I'm not having any purpose with that. So I'm buying only 1 and 2, and I'm making a lot of yarn. I'm dyeing a lot of yarn, and you know, I'm living. It's not just knitting; it's a passion. It has become a passion.
Right. So when you knit now, is that like, is what's the shortest amount of time it can take you? Or is that something like you start knitting one day, you take a week off, you come back to it whenever the idea strikes? Like, how long is the process of you creating one item?
Sometimes I can. I knit a lot, and I have a lot of things. But sometimes I only knit when I feel for it. I have to feel in my heart and in my stomach and in my brain that this is the thing I'm going to knit. So sometimes a knitting has to take a pause for months, and then I'm turning back to it and finishing it. Maybe after a year, but in 1 week I can make a lot of things. So, um, you know, because it's about the process and not the product.
Right.
I am
So,
not forced to do anything.
so
And I'm
those
not,
days when you're not knitting, what are you doing?
oh, I am a housewife. I'm married. I have 3 sons and 2 grandchildren, and I have a dog. And you know, there's a lot of things going on. I have to clean, I have to cook, I have to do everything. Like, yes, I'm also preparing workshops and talks and speeches, going out and meeting people. So it's like a kind of work.
Right. But like when you're not knitting, do you think about knitting? Do you think about like your next project? Is it part of your daily routine anyway?
It is. It is. I have this big book here, um, and when I get an idea, I am going to draw it or make a note about a thought I'm having. So a lot of things are happening in the brain overnight and or in the morning or over day, and then I'm writing it down here.
So when you're talking about like things that come to your mind, right? What inspires it? Like, do you see something in nature that inspires you? Do you see some like building that inspires you? Like, where do you find those ideas?
Yes, I think I can sometimes find an idea in a feeling. Sometimes a feeling in my body can make me want to make something. Or something I see in television, hear in the radio, and I see outside out the door. And I'm very inspired by in Denmark. There's a big difference in winter, summer, autumn, and spring. So there are a lot of inspiration to get there. But I think really a feeling inside me, a mood I'm getting into, that's the best.
So like when people see your creations, do they ever ask you like, what do you mean by that? Like, what did you want to tell? Is there a story behind this particular outfit, right?
I think there is a story behind everything knitted by a woman or a man. These stitches coming out of our hands, everything we make, I never undo it. Is that the right word?
Right.
I never
frog it.
Yeah, frog it. That's right. Funny word. I never frog it. Never, because the stitch you have made, you're not going to undo. You will not do that with anything, your life or your cooking or anything. So I never unfrog. Frog. Yeah, I never do that. And that's and some people say, oh, I do that a lot. And I think, yes, by doing that, you never know when you get to the climax, when you have done something marvelous with your hands, when you all the time is undoing it. Right. So, yeah.
So for you, it's just a part of the journey, basically. You don't look at it as a mistake. You look at it as part of the design, of the creative process.
I never make mistakes. I never make mistakes. I only make wonderful things. And because my brain is that way, it's, yes, it has to be joyful and funny. Yes, I have been thinking a lot of people, women. I'm very, I think a lot of how women are and so on. And then I thought, nah, maybe I'm going to knit a woman. And I started here by knitting this wonderful creature. I have to work on the bosom because they are a little bit too high up to the neck. But yes, I think that's wonderful, just to do what I want to.
Do you think, that's part, because like that woman that you knitted, she's not the ideal beauty of today's Vogue magazines, right? She's not that skinny little Barbie figure. Is that part of you being a rebel, to like be able to appreciate the beauty of any kind of body?
Yes. I'm trying to move the borders a little bit forward, and I'm trying to let people see something that they did not expect, and they will think, oh wow, what is she doing? Someone made a gift for me, this one. Can you see what that is? Yeah. And I'm thrilled when I get a gift like this, because I think, okay, it's like, it is living in Denmark. Women are free, and in this competition I was a part of. Yeah, sorry. One of the girls, she has a husband who is trans. Is that right?
Yeah.
He
Transgender.
was really marrying a woman, but this woman wanted to be a man. And then we were going in, yes, to make something for people who needed special things. And she needed this, you know. And when I came home, I thought, okay, maybe I could knit something like that too. And I did. And it has something to do with you can knit what you want. You shall not listen to um, what your best friend says, what your mother says. Oh no, that's good, not good enough. You have to take it up and then start again and all that. You just should do what you want to. I
So,
think.
okay, you have 3 children, you have grandchildren. How
Mhm.
do they, when they look at you and you are like this coolest grandma who creates this like incredible designs and like does all these things, how they look at you? Are they in awe of you? Are they very supportive, or are they like, oh my God, here mom goes again? Like, what's their reaction to you?
You know, I have 3 boys and they love me, but they say, Mom, this one you're not going to wear outside the house. Inside it's okay. Not when we are here, but inside is okay. I have been doing really a lot of stupid things and funny things and you know, I think they are very proud of me. They are. Mm.
Do you
But
think that's,
I'm not an easy mom.
well, maybe that's your job, that's your function in
Yeah.
life, to make their life just a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
But do you think like I mean, to me, like people like you, right? People who don't create any boundaries for their imagination are like inspirational for everybody, because it sort of gives you freedom of trying, freedom of like, you, this whole idea of there is no mistakes, it's just part of the journey. It's like very freeing, because if
Mm.
you think that way, then nothing you make is wrong, nothing you make is like should be redone, and it's just all part of the creativity, right?
Yes.
Do you get that a lot? Do people tell it to you, that you allow them the freedom to be a little bit more brave in their meeting?
Yes. Every day people write to me in Messenger and or tell me that I have made them being I have given them the courage to be more creative
Right.
and to use materials they have not dreamt about. And yes, and I have been I can't remember the word for, but a lot of people think that it's wonderful what I'm doing and they want to learn it and to do it too. And I have been an inspiration for a lot of people. And that's wonderful, I think. It's not you cannot buy that
Right.
or get that or get a gift or something. I can inspire people, and I think that's very wonderful. And I'm very what is it?
Humble.
Humble. That's right. That's a nice word. A nice word. I'm really humble. Yes,
You
about
know,
that.
I saw one of your videos on Instagram where there was a fashion show and some women were wearing your creations. And there was this one lady who had some like, I think it was like some sort of top on. And at the beginning you can see that she's like very shy and very unsure while she starts doing the round, and then towards the end of the round there's like a hair flip and she's like all getting into the mood of it, and it's like, and I felt it was so wonderful that your clothes can give this like level of confidence to somebody to like feel like a model, feel like they're wearing this art, you know.
Yeah, there were some very young women there, and they came to me afterwards, and I said, we just love your things. They are so wonderful, and they looked like they were coming out of the forest, and they wasn't growing like women, and they had a lot of confidence. And you know, I cried when I saw them because it was so beautiful, and I thought, wow, I'm going to do this a lot more. So I'm now trying to get a place where I can make a catwalk.
Yeah.
Because I have so many funny things, and I could make a wonderful catwalk. You would never have seen anything in your life. I could do that. I only have to find a place.
Well, I hope you do, because it's like it would be a wonderful show. But
Yeah.
I also find that, like, because your items are so unique, they sort of allow people to show their own uniqueness and to feel their own uniqueness, to feel that they are like very special men and women who, like, just because they put it on, like, it automatically gives you this sense of uniqueness.
And that's the same way I feel. You know, every woman should have a golden hat. Not many have, because they have been told they cannot wear a hat, and they say, "Oh, you can wear everything," but I can't. But it's to find it in your spine and take it up and put the hat on and go out and smile to people. Then you can do a lot of things, I think.
Well, let's talk about your YouTube channel. Why did you decide to start the YouTube channel?
I decided to do that because the corona came and we couldn't meet. And I could see in my group on Facebook that there were a lot of people who were feeling less and couldn't find the meaning with it all. And then I thought, okay, we're going to make something special here. And then I started and just took my phone on this front of me and started and live stream. And all the talking came here underneath, and I was answering them and so on. And I found out, okay, that's really nice. I like that. And what people like about my live streamings is that there's no rule, and if there's something, someone saying something, I'm going to, yes, okay, that's fine, yes, down on 5, yes, fine, okay, and it's just natural. and I think a lot of women, they think, okay, just like me, just like I would do, or just like I would like to do. So I think they get inspired by seeing it's not, you do not need to make a lot of things before you make something. Just jump into it.
I love that, because it's like, I feel like that's exactly how I started this channel. It was totally unplanned. It was not something I thought through. It was just like spur of the moment when I decided, you know what, I'm gonna start meeting some wonderful artists out there and get to know them for myself and maybe for my followers. And this is how this channel started. So I really liked, and I feel like if I thought about it, if I thought about how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna edit these videos, how I'm gonna post it, how I'm gonna find those artists, how I'm gonna convince them to come to my show, I would never started it. And yet here I am, like 4 months later, with like 80 something interviews under my belt. So I feel like it's really sort of, you have to give yourself freedom to try and freedom to do things. And it's all like inside of us, that we are the
But
ones who stop ourselves.
a lot of people, a lot of women, you know, they think I'm just too much, and yeah, and I think, and they can then leave. You have you have the opportunity to leave. So I just say to them that maybe you shouldn't be here, and then they can leave. So yeah.
Do you get like any negative comments, and does that hurt you? Like, if people say something like this to you, that you are too much, you're like over the top, does that hurt you, or you just don't let it get to you?
Sometimes it hurts, especially here in the winter. I think I'm a little bit more sensitive. But normally you know, I had a little exhibition and on a knitting festival, and a woman was coming towards me. I was sitting and knitting, and she came, and she wasn't just an old lady, gray hair and old lady's clothing, and she came to me and she said, I have been looking at your exhibition. And I said, okay, wow, thank you. It was awful, she said. It was awful. And then, for a second, I thought, what is she saying? And then I could feel it fumble here in my stomach, and I started to laugh. And I said, okay, that's okay. That's okay. You can have that feeling. It's okay with me. But sometimes I think, why do people need to say it?
Like
I
honestly, like this is the biggest question I ask.
yeah.
I feel like there is so much out there, so much information, so much things to look at and admire, that if you see something that not your cup of tea, you can just move on to the next thing. And I was interviewing a yarn dyer from England, Katie, from the Yarn Whisper, and he said he did this, he told me this comparison. He said, like, when you're walking into the mall and there's like all these different stores, you don't feel obligated to walk into every store. You walk by the window and you see something that catches your attention and you're gonna walk into that store. But then you're gonna walk by another 10 stores without even like considering going in, right? And it's sort of the same in our world. Like you can see something that you like and go and stop there and leave a positive comment, and then you see something that doesn't speak to you and you can just walk by without making somebody feel bad about it, you know.
You know, when I have these speeches and a lot of people are sitting and looking and listening to me, a lot of them I can see on their faces if it's not okay, and I can see if it is cool. And sometimes there's a woman who says, "Oh, that's nice." When I get to something that looks a little bit normal, that's nice. And I can't stop laughing when they do that, because okay.
That
It is
means
a kind of
everything else
funny.
is not right.
What?
That just means that everything else is not nice.
Yes,
That's
yes. All the other things do not work, but this one is wonderful. Yeah, I know. I have just been making something. You know, it's Christmas, so I have been making this little mistletoe.
that's so
I
pretty.
think that's funny too. It is a crochet, yeah, but it doesn't matter really, I think. And
Right.
I have been making these two for the Christmas tree. I do not know if you have these in where you live
Yeah, it's in
around the
Ireland.
tree. Yeah, we have a lot of. I think we have very different traditions when it's
Right.
Christmas. Yeah.
Do you make gifts for everybody?
Oh my God. No, I'm not. I'm sewing a lot. Uh, I have an
Machine.
overlocker and a sewing machine. And now I'm showing you something, because I have been making, you know, when I knit, I take a picture, and then suddenly I thought, okay, this could be a lovely pattern, I don't know, a fabric.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I have
beautiful.
been knitting this, and it is made to a fabric. And also this is
Right.
knitted too, and then made into a fabric. So all the time I'm trying to make things, and my head is going round and round and round. I can go and make something to supper, and then suddenly there's an idea, and I have to write it down.
Right. What about your grandkids? Like, do you make stuff for them?
Yeah, yes, I did. The first little baby was a girl, and I thought, oh yes, now I'm going to make her something nice. And you know, the mothers didn't think it was so nice. I could see it, and I could see she didn't use it. When I came up to her, it wasn't to see anywhere, and
Right.
suddenly one day I found it deep down in under something. And then I took the talk with my nice daughter-in-law, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, who's married to my son. And I said to her, okay, would you like 200 kroners and go out in Hennes and Mauritz and buy something? Or am I going to make something for her? Your choice. If you want me to knit something, you can choose the color, and you can choose something I can make
Right.
without a pattern. So we had that talk, and both of us, we could now relax. And my sons, they have what they need, and they have said to me, Mother, don't bother. We'll get what we need. just make what you want to.
Do you do knitting for like besides the Christmas decoration? Do you do any other sort of knitting to decorate the house? Like pillows, throws, that kind of things.
Yes, I make a lot. I make sometimes I'm a part of exhibitions around here, and I make pictures, and I make great things to from the wall and hanging down knittings.
Like wall hanging.
Yes, I think so. Yes, but I do not like it. It has to come from inside of me, and I must have a need to make it. I cannot just, if people say, would you like it to knit a blouse for me? No, thank you. Please go and buy it somewhere and find someone who can knit it, because I'm losing the interest, and it's not the way I walk. It's not the way I work. I cannot work that way.
So when you have this book of inspiration that you write down all your ideas, do you ever go back to like the beginning of that book and like leaf through the pages and find new inspirations within the old inspirations?
Yes, but my problem is that I get so many ideas. I do not have time for it. So a lot of ideas will never get out in the room. Maybe one day when I cannot remember so much anymore, I can go and look here. But sometimes it's enough. It's like when you are having a person in your life, it doesn't really manage cope. So you write a letter to him and do not send it, but you keep it. But you have been writing a letter. So it's the same. I put down here a lot of things here. And sometimes when I look back, I can see, oh, you did that. You did that. Oh, you have done that. Right. So by writing it down, it is here like on a computer, I think.
Have you ever knitted the same thing twice? Like, is there two items that exactly the same?
Before, way back, I have been doing it, I think. No, not twice the same. No, I cannot find the power for it. No, I think it's, I'm so bored. I'm so bored. And when I get it, and I think, sometimes when I think, now you're doing it. You're doing it right now. You're doing it. You're looking here. And 10 centimeters, then I'm going totally crazy.
Love it.
Can I show you something for Christmas?
Sure. Ooh, ooh la la.
Sometimes I take an old bra and then I make these.
Actually, I had a question about that as well.
Yeah.
Do you go back to like some of the items you've made and redecorate them, like add to them?
Oh, I do that a lot. I love that. I'm knitting it, I'm wearing it, and then I think, oh no, it needs to be longer sleeves, or it needs to be more, sitting better, or it needs something more. Oh, it's boring, and then I just go on knitting on it. So I love that. It's wonderful.
Is there like something that you've made that you would never change anything about, that it's like perfect in your eyes?
Yes. Most of the things I make are perfect. So most of the things, they are just like they are, and they are not good. I'm not going to do anything about it.
Well, I can't wait to see all your future creations, because every time you post something, I'm like, I have to enlarge, go in and like study it, and just, I find you so inspiring. I find the world is a better place because you are in it, and because you at the Rebel Knitter, you're making all of us braver. You're making this world braver to be ourselves, to be more creative, and to reach our potential. So thank you for that. Well, thank you so much for being a guest of my channel today. I loved having you on, and I hope we'll stay in touch. I find you superbly inspirational.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.